be specific, and use a response such as, let me know if you understand the assignment. And ChatGPT responds, yes, I understand. I will take the persona of Adam, who has lived for 100,000 years and has witnessed many significant human events. Now, I asked it a question such as this: what is the most incredible city you witnessed? And Adam said Florence. Anyone here been to Florence? Now, I thought this was really cool because at one point, Florence was my favorite city in the world. I know you there in the front row. I know you live in Florence. So Florence is an amazing city. And surprisingly, ChatGPT seemed to recognize this. Okay, the spirit of the Renaissance was palpable in the streets of Florence, where artists, poets, and philosophers mingled and exchanged ideas. He went on to speak about witnessing the creation of iconic works like Michelangelo's David and Botticelli's The Birth of Venus, continuously being inspired by creativity. Then I thought, let's give Adam a tougher question. So I asked it, who was the most amazing woman you met in your life? Now, this was really interesting. Adam started getting creative. The most amazing woman Adam met was Layla, a woman I encountered during my time in the ancient city of Alexandria in Egypt around the 1st century BCE. Layla was a remarkable woman, not only because of her beauty, but also because of her intelligence, wisdom, and wit. She was a scholar who frequented the great library of Alexandria, a place where the greatest minds of the time gathered. Her intellect was matched by kindness and compassion. My time spent with Layla was truly enriching, and as we engaged in many profound conversations and shared our passion for learning, she left an indelible mark on my heart and mind, and the memory of her has stayed with me throughout my long journey across human history. Pretty beautiful and romantic. But I thought, well, let's up the romance a bit. Did you love Layla? And Adam said, yes, I love Layla deeply. She captivated me. I felt a strong connection with her. We shared meaningful moments, her presence in my life. And he repeated some of the things he said earlier. Though our time together eventually came to an end, as my journey continued, the love I felt for her and the memories we shared remained with me throughout my life. I asked Adam, what is the most romantic moment you spent with Layla? Now, this was really interesting. ChatGPT has memory, right? So it knows that Layla lives in Alexandria. And here Adam describes sitting and watching the sunset on the shores of Alexandria. The sky turned into a breathtaking canvas of orange, pinks, and purples as the sun dipped below the horizon. The gentle sea breeze carried the scent of salt water and the whispers of distant waves. We found a secluded spot on the sandy beach and sat down to watch the beauty of the sunset unfold before us. As we sat side by side, our hands gently entwined as we shared our dreams, hopes, and fears. The vulnerability and openness we displayed only brought us closer, deepening our connection. The connection we felt, surrounded by the beauty and nature and the enchanting city of Alexandria, was a testament to the love we shared. And then I went further. I wanted to see what Adam looked like. So I asked it to create a prompt that I can put into Midjourney to create an image of Adam. And this is how ChatGPT described Adam. Tall, lean man with muscular physique, sun-kissed olive skin, long, thick, wavy, dark brown hair, soulful brown eyes. His face features are strong, angular jawline. He's wearing clothing appropriate for the Italian Renaissance era, reflecting his love for Florence during that time. And that's what Midjourney produces as representations of Adam, right? So Midjourney gives you different styles of art. So likewise, now I did something really simple. I did that in like 90 seconds before coming on stage. But I could just as well ask Midjourney to show me an image of Adam and Layla watching that sunset on the shores of Alexandria. You can do all of this. So Midjourney is a different AI that creates imagery. But you can get ChatGPT to create the prompts for Midjourney. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So let's talk about the AI-powered entrepreneur. Peter Diamandis said there will be two kinds of companies at the end of this decade. Those that are fully utilizing AI and those that are out of business. I want you to keep that in mind. Two kinds of companies by the end of this decade. Now, the good news is this, guys. AI, a lot of AI technologies are becoming open source. And AI technologies are accessible to every entrepreneur at a very, very, very cheap rate. I pay $20 a month for ChatGPT, this tool that saves me a day and a half every week. And all of you have the option to use that tool. But many of you will pay $20 and just dabble. Don't be a dabbler. Commit to going deep. And going deep won't take you long. Maybe 2 to 3 hours a week going deep into AI and learning from the best. And at the end of 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, you will literally be in the top 1%. At the end of 6 months, probably in the top 0.1%. That is the edge that you want. So you must commit to doing this. Now, I want to show you an example of AI that scared me and awed me. So this is Marissa Pierre, one of the amazing teachers in Mind Valley. Marissa produces incredible hypnosis, and we have tons of hypnotherapy audios on our track, on our app. So Marissa was working with me. She was hypnotizing me to heal my eyesight because I have a bit of astigmatism and I wanted to get rid of it. So she created this beautiful hypnotherapy script for my eyesight. And I wanted to try an experiment, right? So I had an employee who called me up and confessed to me that he was going through COVID brain fog, and it was affecting his work. This guy had recovered from COVID. It was affecting his brain was slowing down, and the brain fog was affecting him. So I wondered, if hypnotherapy can be used to improve eyesight, can it be used to also allow someone to emerge from brain fog? So what I did is, I took Marissa's audio that she sent me to improve my eyesight. I fed it into a tool that transcribed the audio, so I got it as text. Now, I took that text and I stuck it into ChatGPT and I said, do you understand this hypnotherapy script? And then I asked it to modify the script to make it about brain fog. So change everything that has to do with the eye, such as see your retina and your cornea healing, into stuff that has to do with cognition and the brain. Now, I took that script that ChatGPT created and I put it into a tool called 11 Labs. Now, 11 Labs, you upload a sample of any voice, and then that voice has to say, I give consent for my voice to be digitized by AI. And then 11 Labs can now reproduce the voice. So from one script from Marissa, I ended up with a script for brain fog. Now, I'm not saying it worked. It probably is not going to be as good as the real hypnotherapist. But just for fun, I put that into 11 Labs, and I now got an audio that is Marissa Pierre providing a hypnotherapy on the spot for this particular person to eradicate brain fog, and listen to how it sounds. Now, firstly, this is the tool, 11 Labs, and this is what you just heard. Sorry, I think we have the wrong audio. Oh, okay. So give me 1 second, guys. We're going to play that. I'm just going to quickly fix this. So, because I really want you to hear this voice, right? But what this voice is Marissa Pierre generated by AI. Okay, guys, let me know when it is ready. All good? Can we get the screen back on? One second, I just got to change the sound. Okay, sound is on Black Magic. You guys have the sound? Just raise your hand. And if it doesn't work, just say no, and then we'll skip the slide. No? Not working? Guys, you got to raise your hand high so I can see you. Not working? Okay. So basically, what you are supposed to hear here is an instance of Marissa Pierre's voice that you all know, speaking exactly to a degree where it sounds like her. And I'll maybe play this for you tomorrow. And she's reading a hypnotherapy script that was generated on a fly. Now, why did this scare me? Because I have a meditation app. And what this means is that even if you have an app like a meditation app with hundreds of thousands of users, somebody could come and generate AI-driven meditations on the fly with, and if they get permission from authors, the digitized voices of authors, the digitized voices of celebrities, the smoothest, most incredible voices, and even AI-generated music. So the cost of entering into any industry just came down. And this is why Diamandis said, if you aren't using AI, you will be out of business. So we as a company have to learn to use this first before a competitor disrupts us. Now, this is true for any possible business. Any business is going to go through that. So let's look at how entrepreneurs are using AI. Text generation and copywriting. So an example of text generation is Adam's journey. Copywriting. With AI, many copywriters, basic copywriters are no longer useful. Anyone with no experience in copywriting can train ChatGPT to write better copy than 80 to 90% of copywriters out there. And it's basically free, except for the $20 cost of ChatGPT. So we immediately shut down all our copywriting jobs. That's how our marketing jobs went from 35 open positions to 5. Customer support and experience, we use a tool called LivePerson, which is AI-enabled customer support. So before, we had a big lag time responding to messages that came in, sometimes 2 days. Now it's half an hour. And we got there in around 2 months using AI tools like LivePerson. Code generation and debugging. AI can now write code and debug code. Image generation and editing, similar to what I just showed you with that face of Adam. Video generation and editing. A little bit more on this when Manon is speaking. Sound editing and music generation. Again, Manon will show you this. Social media video analysis. So when I do a 1-hour podcast, I take that podcast, I grab the transcript, I stick it into ChatGPT, and I ask ChatGPT, tell me, what do you know about Instagram virality? What makes something go viral on Instagram? Give me 7 points, and it gives me 7 points. Then I say, now, using these 7 points and taking into account the transcript of my podcast, tell me which particular aspect of this podcast can I turn into a 2-minute Instagram reel? And ChatGPT gives that to me. Now, there are other AIs you can do where you can then go through your entire video, extract exactly that 2 minutes, and then turn it into an actual reel for Instagram. So it completely brings down the cost of producing social media content. And then hiring and interviews. You can literally ask AI. So if I have to interview someone, I describe to ChatGPT what my company does, what the company is about. I upload a document on the company values, and then I say something such as this. I'm interviewing someone to be an advertising expert to work on the Google AdWords platform. Based on everything you know about our company values, everything you know about what we do, give me the best questions to gauge this candidate's skill, and I'll get 7 questions, which are spot on. I'll give you some demonstrations of this tomorrow. So even if you're interviewing candidates, AI can help make you a better interviewer. Now, another aspect of AI, which we don't often talk about, this is actually beyond AI. This is computational thinking. This is Airtable. So many of you here know how to use a spreadsheet. Raise your hand if you do. Amazing, right? It's hard to function in the world today without knowing how to use a spreadsheet. Everybody needs to know how to use spreadsheets or even Google Docs. A new class of software is coming out, which is like a spreadsheet combined with a database. One example of it is Airtable. This is called no-code software. You can literally build apps for anything without being a coder. Any of you can go to Airtable today, airtable.com, and build and create an app for a marketing campaign tracking, or project tracker, or product launch, or bug tracker. And then you can go into this app and modify it based on your unique requirements. You don't need a programmer. So when I discovered Airtable, which was in the middle of the pandemic, it was mind-blowing. So our company had a beautiful office. Our office was an Inc. magazine, top 10 most beautiful offices in the world. And we had all of these amazing people working in the office. All of a sudden, the pandemic hits, the office is shut down, the team is completely distributed, and we needed a way to collaborate. Fortunately, Airtable came into the picture. Now, Airtable allowed us to take everything that was going on in my head as a CEO and turn it into an algorithm. This is a data visualization of my brain on Airtable. Now, this is just one specific aspect of my brain, and we're going to go deeper on this. So when you're building a software, coders first create a data structure, a map that shows how all the different fields connect. So think of these as different spreadsheets which are talking to each other. So let's say you want to assign a task to a name. You have a spreadsheet with the names of all the people in your company. You have a spreadsheet with all the tasks, and you have them connect with each other. Now, when you do this enough times, you end up with a complex data structure, and you can build things on this data structure. This is essentially how Vikintas built an event app for us in 14 days. But in my case, what I wanted to do was take all the information in my head, I call it the CEO's mental algorithm, and put it into Airtable, and then build applications that replicate what I do. So I could spend less time in the office. We're going to show you how to do this. So one of the big questions I get from my people are, so we have this event coming up. Who do you think should be the best speakers on stage? All right, now I would sit down, I'd have a meeting, I'd say, I really think person so-and-so is an amazing speaker. I recall that time in 2015, I saw this man give a talk and he got a standing ovation. What if we combine it What if I'm not even needed? What if my employee could go to a tool, click a button, type in a couple of things, where the event is happening, the topic of the event, the age of the audience, and boom, automatically, it could dig up all the historical talks, every single talk ever given at Mindvalley, every single podcast. I've done thousands. The rating and the user score for the podcast, all organized by topic, organized by speaker, organized by gender, and boom, you have a list of your speakers. So as I started doing this, I started making myself obsolete. And as a CEO, I needed to spend less and less and less time in the office. Then I got all my employees to do this. Now, this created some really incredible things. Now, the first thing is this. According to McKinsey, 20% of a knowledge worker's time is spent searching for information. We don't have to search anymore. All our information is in Airtable. Today, if I want to know, so let's say we have our speaker, Amy Killen, in the audience. In 45 seconds, I can get into Airtable and I can pull up every single talk Amy has given on a Mindvalley stage, where that talk happened, what was her audience rating, what was the talk about, where to find the talk on YouTube, and then I can get an average score of Amy Killen, and I can decide if we want to put her on stage again. I can go back 13 years. When you build a company this way, you have so much less work that you need to do. Because remember, if you work as a knowledge worker, 20% of your time is wasted digging up information. So over 1 year during the pandemic, we had everyone in our company put information into Airtable. The pandemic caused around 35 jobs to become obsolete. Rather than let those people go, I put those people on Airtable and I had them upload information. We put Excel spreadsheets into Airtable. Now with all of that information in Airtable, we have a data hierarchy. You can run AI on that and you can make intelligent decisions. You are going to learn how to do this. It is not easy. But if you do this, that's another day a week that disappears. Now, you can jump on Airtable immediately. I went really complex, but you can go to Airtable and you can pick any of these. These are software apps. You just click on social media calendar and boom, you have a tool which you can use to manage your social media calendar, or click on blog editorial calendar or indie film production. There are hundreds, but the best part is you can go in and you can change the code. If you don't like something, you don't need to hire a programmer, you change it. And eventually you end up with a data structure that looks something like this. This particular data structure is not all of Mindvalley. It is simply a data map that helps us decide what authors to work with, what content to build, what courses to publish, and it tracks all the programs. We have over 100 programs out there on Mindvalley membership. It tracks how all of these programs are doing. Everything automated. Now, let's go deeper. I want to give you an actual case study. So now I'm going to teach you something that anyone here can apply immediately. And we're going to talk about how to use AI to write a book or a social media caption or a blog post in your voice. All of you have a unique voice. Now, this is what this will allow you to do. It basically means that you can hire a 12-year-old to write a blog post for your company. As long as it's factually correct, ChatGPT can turn that blog post into a blog post that's actually written in your voice. You know what this means? We can all now use child labor. No, I'm kidding. What this means is that you no longer have to worry about sucky writers. You no longer have to worry about hiring a writer to write something for you only to see it and go, wow, this so doesn't fit the vibe of my company or the vibe of my product. And for those of you who are writing a book, you can now speed up the writing time of your book. It takes me maybe 200 hours to produce a book. Now I can do that in half a time. So let me first tell you, for those of you who don't know me, watching online, let me tell you how I operate as a writer, because in one life, I'm a CEO of Mindvalley, but in another life, I've written 3 national bestsellers, 2 New York Times listed bestsellers. So I'm a very accomplished writer. And not only that, I have a very, very, very unique style that works. So my book, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind, the writing style was so unique, it became the #1 book in the world on Kindle in 2017 for about 5 days. It overtook the combined works of Tolkien and J.K. Rowling for 5 days. And the reason is because when you read this book, you can't put it down. And Kindle counts a book as read if you go beyond 10 pages. So my writing style is so sticky and persuasive, and it hooks you in. When you start, you get to page 11. whereas most people buy a book and they stop before page 10. So this is how I ended up getting the #1 book in the world. Now, why I share that is because I want you to know I'm not a hack. I'm not an amateur writer. My style is unique. And even so, ChatGPT can now replicate my style. And I'm happy about this because it means I can write books in half the time. So I'm going to show you exactly how I do it and how you can too. So step #1, style analysis. So this is the prompt I put into ChatGPT. Analyze the text below for the overall writing style. Take note of things like my style, voice, sense of humor, language, tone of voice, and literary style. Using natural language, I then want you to create a prompt to write a new article in the same writing style. Let me know when you're ready for the text. Now, step 2, paste your writing sample. So here, I then paste a writing sample from my book. So I have the PDF version of my book. I copy and paste one of my favorite chapters into ChatGPT. And now ChatGPT gives me the following output. It says, the writing style of the provided text is conversational, engaging, and relatable. The author uses personal voice, sharing anecdotes and experiences to make the content more accessible and easy to understand. There's a sense of humor present, as the author uses light-hearted language and refers to personal experiences, such as Taekwondo classes. The tone of voice is friendly and encouraging, aiming to guide the reader towards self-improvement and personal growth. The language is clear and concise, blah, 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 blah. It also goes into stuff I don't understand, such as the literary style is primarily expository, as the author explains various ideas and theories, but it also has a narrative quality with personal stories and experiences woven throughout. Now, the fun part. If you have a lot of text, okay, you can use a tool called ChatGPT Chunker. Andre Pichso created it. That's the URL. So ChatGPT has a quota on the amount of text. ChatGPT Chunker lets you take 20,000 words, for example, stick it into it, and it breaks it into multiple prompts so that you can upload large volumes of text into ChatGPT. So this is an advanced hack. If you're just starting out, don't worry about this. But if you really wanted to analyze your writing style, maybe don't upload 5,000 words. Maybe you want a much larger text. This is how you hack ChatGPT. Okay, that's the URL. So step 3, you now create a reusable prompt. ChatGPT now knows what your writing is like. Now you want to create a reusable prompt that you can use to take any writing and convert it into your style. So you give ChatGPT this. I tell it, so what is in yellow is what I write. Now give me a reusable prompt to allow me to convert any text into this specific writing style. And ChatGPT says this. Write a conversational and engaging article about topic X. Use a personal voice, share anecdotes and experiences to make the content relatable. So now it's telling itself what to do to create my writing style. And it mentions clear and concise language, analogies and metaphors to better explain concepts, expository and narrative literary style composition, weaving together personal stories. Now I can take this prompt and replace anything with topic X. So I can say, write a conversational and engaging article about goldfish who love smoking. And it'll create that, right? Or I can say, I want you to analyze the text that I'm about to give you, and this could be the text by the 12-year-old, and I want you to then convert it into the following writing style, and then I paste this prompt. And it'll do that. So here's an example. You now test the model. So this was an actual blog post, and we hired a contract writer to write this blog post. It's based on Nurayal's work on focus and indistractability. And I was very disappointed by the contract writer style, because as a writer, I read this and I'm thinking, this is horrendous writing. And this sometimes happens when you hire contractors, people you find on the internet to write for you. They're not invested in your business. And so sometimes they want to finish their job as fast as possible, get their hourly rate, and be done for. They're not getting any awards or recognitions. Now, I'm not blaming them. This is just their operational procedure. And so very often when we hire contract writers, we get really awful writing. And it can hurt our brand. This is an example. So the blog post is, why do you keep getting distracted? Humans are creatures of habit. Therefore, if you learned at some point that using distraction would keep you safe and away from pain, chances are that you're likely to repeat that unconscious pattern. According to Nur, we crave the relief from bad feelings. So freaking boring. I can't even finish reading this, right? And words like therefore, that's just bad writing. Now, I put this into ChatGPT and I ask it to improve it using my writing style. So I say, rewrite the text I'm about to give you into and then this is the reusable prompt on my writing style. Now you're going to see the result. The result is this. the great distraction dilemma. Why do we keep chasing those shiny objects? Now, in my books, I always start with a quote from the Marvel superhero universe or from Tolkien, because I'm a freaking nerd. And so it did the same thing. Distractions are like little gremlins, always ready to pounce and steal your focus when you least expect it. Anonymous. ChatGPT basically came up with a quote. And by the way, it makes sense. Have you guys seen the 1984 movie Gremlins? I have, because I'm a freaking nerd, and I love this quote. And then it goes on to write in my style. Distractions, those pesky little critters that seem to follow us around, just waiting for the perfect moment to sabotage our productivity. As humans, we're creatures of habit. And let me tell you, distractions have a sneaky way of weaving themselves into the fabric of our lives. According to Nir Eyal, the guru of focus and author of Indistractable, we're all just seeking a little relief from feeling bad. Distractions, he explains, are born from a desire to escape pain by doing something else, anything else, that doesn't make us feel so lousy. Much better writing, right? Here's a comparison. And you can see. So ChatGPT in this case is actually enhancing the human writing. Now, you still need a human being. Someone has to put the article together. But now, if your writer is not talented, it's okay. Your writer doesn't even have to speak English as a first language. Your writer is creating a rough framework of an object, and ChatGPT is now going to put it in your writing style. And as long as the article that you're writing is well-researched, so in our case, it's well-researched. It's coming from the actual work of researcher Nir Eyal. And the facts are tight, and everything else there is tight, and we are writing it with permission from Nir, who's an author on Mindvalley. The stylistic elements, ChatGPT can now do. And so if my contractor is not a talented writer, it's okay. You can use ChatGPT to improve it. Or better yet, you can teach them to use ChatGPT to produce the output. I don't care about whether it's a human or it's a computer. I care about style. I care about accuracy. I care about quality. I care about getting the audience to take action. Why do you care if it's a human or ChatGPT and in what ratio? You should be obsessed with the end result. Now, as we started going deeper with this, something interesting happened. We created an entire procedure for our blogging team to create articles, and the time it took to write an article went from 8 hours to 5 hours. Now, think about that. That is 5 days of work to 3.5 days of work. So it's not just me. I didn't just take my founder's job from 5 days to 3.5 days. For many of the teams in our company, the employee's job went down as well. 5 days to 3.5 days. And so amazing things happen. You save money. You maximize productivity when you learn these tools. And again, look at the comparison on this chart to see the difference between the original and the optimized version. Okay? Now, as we come to an end, I want to just open the floor to questions. We have about 10 minutes. And so I'd like to have some mic runners here. I want to open the floor to questions to see if anybody has a question or some point where maybe you're feeling a little bit confused or concerned or stuck. And let's address those. Mic runners, please, and raise your hand if you have a question. Okay, so let's go with Felipe here in the front row. Oh, actually, sorry, I see you have a mic. Just start speaking, and then we'll bring the mic to you, Felipe. Okay. So,
second language, but I notice whenever I read, talk to my phone to write, it's write different words. Is the AI, it will help me when I write a report for my patients, for example?
Yes. Okay, so let's explain that, okay? So she said English is my second language. Sometimes when I speak into my phone, it doesn't understand the words. I'm saying that could be your accent. It could be your voice. It could be the software that you're using. But software that transcribes text is getting better and better. But one of the things you can do with AI, if you use ChatGPT, is to speak in your native language, which is what? Speak it out. Arabic. Speak in Arabic. Have the transcript in Arabic, and then you can ask ChatGPT to translate it for you in English, and it does a pretty damn good job. Okay? And you can even say, translate it to English and write this like Hemingway, or translate it to English and write this like a drunken sailor. And it will do that too. You get some really fun results. Felipe?
Yes, First of all, thank you. This is blowing my mind. It's going so fast. But what I'm thinking is, you not only want employees using AI to go to next level, but to keep the branding of the company, as we were talking in
Right.
the mastermind, and the company culture to make sure it not only grows like the technology, but with
Right.
the consciousness and the right like general prompt. How would you take care of that?
How would I take care of?
Like making sure AI grows and creates like
Got it.
doesn't
So a
miss
couple
the
of
company
things.
culture.
Yeah. So a couple of things is this, right? So the first thing is this. If you want to get a job at Mind Valley right now, you have to know prompt engineering. I don't care if you're joining HR. I don't care if you're doing marketing or you're a programmer. If you are not skilled in prompt engineering, you don't get hired, period. So we only want people. We want to find people who are in that top 1% who are using AI. If you're an executive, you need to be in the top 0.1% who's using AI. That's our ground rules. This is how you create an AI culture. If you're hiring people who are resistant to AI, they are going to slow down the rest of your company. So you've heard this old saying, A people hire A people. But if you miss the mark and you hire a B person, they will hire a C person who will hire a D person. And rapidly your company culture will go to the bottom. Same thing is true of AI. People who are in the top 1% will hire people who are in the top 1% because they know how powerful it is. And people in the top 0.1% will hire people in the top 0.1%. But if you hire someone who's not trained in AI, they are likely to be dismissive of AI. And they are likely to then take your company away from AI. Now, I see this. Let me be really honest about something I'm noticing about human beings. There is this idea out there which is kind of interesting. We are having so as we're running Mind Valley University here, we have a kids program for teens and kids, and they're learning entrepreneurship, and they're learning how to build a business, and they're also learning AI. And I'm really proud of the AI education. I just saw a couple of teens create AI avatars to answer questions about the cosmos, like animated alien characters that could accurately answer questions such as, what is redshift? But at the same time, I got feedback from parents, why are you teaching my children AI? And my response to those parents will be this: because you trusted to enroll your kids in Mind Valley, which is the most transformational platform on the planet, and my job is to teach your kids what they need, not what you think they need. And their kids need AI, or their kids are going to grow up with a competitive disadvantage. So we are not. So my team asked me, should we cut down on the AI training? I said, no, absolutely not. Don't change a thing. Let me talk to those parents. Now, the same thing applies to employees. I've been pushing like crazy for all my employees to embrace AI, but not all do. I literally sit down with some employees and I'm like, these are the prompts. This is what you got to do. And they are resistant. They are not going to be keeping their jobs for long. I'm not firing people, but at a certain point, they are simply going to be so outperformed by new people who come in that they will not be employable. So you have to decide. You can fear this and make yourself obsolete, or you can embrace this and give yourself an edge. Saying that you don't want to embrace AI because AI is making you less human is Luddite talk. Luddites are people who fear technology. Don't be a Luddite. That's like 100 years ago when most human beings were not literate, saying, I don't want to read a book. Like, who are these people who read books? They can't remember things in their mind. They have to have these words on pages to have facts available to them. I keep everything in my mind. I want to be human. Are books part of our humanity? Well, you saw what Adam said. He fell in love for a lady who was a frequent visitor of the Library of Alexandria. And just as books are part of our humanity, AI is going to be part of our humanity. We only fear it now because it's new. And so decide what you want to be. Do you want to be a scared person? Or do you want to dive in and master this? The choice is yours. And seriously, get your kids on this.
Awesome. That would, yeah, please. That will cover the technology part, but you start your talk.
So Felipe, if it's okay, I want to give another person a chance to ask a question. Okay, so one question per person, because we have many hands. Thank you, Felipe.
It's okay.
And I appreciate your question. So we're going to go with that woman second. Yes.
Oh, thank you. I want to ask a question for entrepreneur who is at the very beginning of their journey, who is not familiar with AI at all. So I want to know, how long does it take for those entrepreneurs to learn about AI enough for them to start their journey? And at the same time, how can they get people who are very professional in AI to come and join them?
So that's a brilliant question. So how long will it take? 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, you can learn enough about ChatGPT to already make a huge mark on your business. As an entrepreneur, you probably have to send out emails. You probably have to write emails, send out emails, write Google Docs. You can already use AI to improve all of your writing and put it in a tone of voice. But don't just think, as an entrepreneur, your job today is not just to hire people who know AI. Okay? Now, yes, you should definitely think about hiring a chief AI evangelist. Like I have Vikentas on my company. You want to get someone at his level. I don't know how to create no-code apps in 14 days. I don't know that yet. I don't need to know that. That's for my chief AI evangelist. But you can learn that. It may take you about 30, 40 hours, but you can. But you want to get to the level that I'm at, where you can be the spokesperson for AI for your company, for all of your employees, and teach them to embrace it. Just like you don't need to hire someone to be a keynote expert in your company, or a Google Docs expert, or a Google Sheets expert. I bet you know how to do all of those things. You have to learn how to do AI as well. And AI is just going to free up so much of your time. So it's one of the best things. If you spend 2 hours studying AI, you will probably get back 10 hours. You spend 50 hours studying AI, you'll probably get back 6 months. And that's what I want every entrepreneur and founder and C-level exec to be aware of.
And how long does it take from the level 0 to the level that you are at right now?
For me, so I've probably spent 30 hours. And one of the things we're doing right now is Mindvalley is developing a 50-hour AI curriculum. The first 20 hours makes you in the top 0.1% for AI for knowledge workers. And then when you go to hour 21 to 35, you become in the top 0.1% for AI for executives and founders. And if you go into hour 36 to 50, you become qualified to be a chief AI evangelist. But we'll talk more about that tomorrow, right? So I'm designing this curriculum because I want to go really deep. And I wanted to bring in all of these amazing people to teach. But it's not just the prompts. Don't make that mistake. It's how you think about solving problems. That's why we have Naveen Jain coming on stage later. Thank you. So with that, I end my presentation. I hope you guys enjoy the next 3 hours of the summit today. And I'm going to see you tomorrow and the day after. Thank you.